Welcome to the manager training session for HRSimplified. For this session to make sense, you must already have watched the employee training session, which was released earlier. So please have a look at that. So I'm not going to go into how the framework does things again, because it's already been covered in there. This is only going to be focusing on what managers can do and what managers can see. Okay, after logging in as a manager, you will see that the system looks very much the same as the employee, apart from the fact that there's additional menus on the side. We still have the entire dashboard and all the My items, which is part of the self-service. The only additional one that a manager gets will be the fact that there's a My Insights. I'll start with that first. My Insights is aimed at giving a manager a bit of an overview of what's going on with his own staff. The first screen comes up and tells me if there's going to be any upcoming leave of my staff in the next week. And below that, any upcoming performance reviews that either might have expired already or is due very soon. So this is where you would see, who's going on leave the next week, and maybe there's a performance review that hasn't been accepted yet, or it needs to be done by my employees. The second tab is engagement. So this first block details all the employees that report to you, what their current position is, when last they have a movement, and that would mean they've either got a promotion, or they've got a new job title, or they've got an increase in salary. So if they have not had any of those, it will show no promotions or salary changes. So that is good information to be on your fingertips when meeting with employees. You can also see when the last leave application was processed, and also when the last claim was processed. And then on the side here, we've got a list of all the annual leave balances for your staff, so that you can know what their leave liability is at this stage. So this is the area aimed at managers to help them, have engagement with their employees in a more informed way. The next item on the list now is administration. This is not available to employees. What this would do, if we open it up, is show me the HR administration file. This is all the employees that report to you as a manager. If somebody does not report to you, you will not have their name here. What it allows you to do is you can go to the action menu and you can change their password. You can apply for leave on their behalf, and that will be as if they've submitted it. So this is something that's useful if you maybe work in a factory setting where you are a supervisor and you've got staff on the floor that don't have access to the system. You would be able to do the leave applications on their behalf. If you do a leave application, be aware that the employee will receive a notification of that if they've got an email address specified on the system. Under notes, this will be HR notes, employee notes. That means something like a appraisal note, or a record that you want to keep about the employee, or maybe it's a warning letter or a disciplinary note, something like that. That can be created from here. You simply click on the link. You can see all that employee that you're busy with, all their current or older notifications that they already have. And you can also go and create a new one. Once you've done that, it then will be stored on the employee record and it forever. So you can always go back when you do performance reviews to see where those notes are. Notes can be hidden from an employee, or they can be made visible. If you ask for a signature, the employee must see it. In that case, it will be visible until signed. And then you can go hide it. But the idea is to try and keep that transparent to the staff. So it is there for you to do notes. And the last one is performance management. This is when you want to do performance management face to face, and you want to be able to do all the steps in the process rather than creating a template, sending it to an employee, the employee creating it offline by himself, like remotely, and sending it back to you. In this case, you can all do it around the table and get it out of the way. So that's just quick accesses to those different areas. You are not allowed to see the entire employee record. There is no edit option. That's only available to HR executives. But because this is a manager, this is all you would need on the platform at this stage. So next up is the capacity planner. This simply shows you a list of all the job titles in the company and the amount, or the total vacancies that is available, as well as the employees that are currently in those positions. This will show you if there is capacity. So in this case, the art teacher will have 4 vacancies and 0 employees, which means we are allowed to employ 4 people. This is like budgetary for your HR team, so that they know what's available and what's out there, and then if you are allowed to go and apply for new positions or not. So this is a guide for managers. There's no action items for the manager, so there won't be any there. Next will be workflows. So there is a promotion workflow that can be kicked off by someone, or a manager or exec. And this will come into this section, and then you are allowed as a manager to process those approvals. That's part of the workflows that you have as a manager. To move on to the next one, which is claims. We spoke earlier about how claims are issued to employees, or employees submit claims and the manager has to go and approve them. So the first part is the approval of those. So as claims come in, you can go view those claims and you can then either reject them or approve them. If they've already been approved, it means that they are processed. So then they move over to a new menu item which you as a manager cannot see. There's a specific role in the system called the finance admin. They are then allowed to take the processed or the approved claims and process them through to payroll. On the annual claim stats, this shows you all your employees, all the overtime applications, the over duration of that, the expenses and the total, and this is for the last moving window of 12 months. So this gives you as a manager just a quick overview of what's going on in your department, how many leave days has been taken in overall for the year, which is a nice tool to have. And then for reports, there's employee claims that you as a manager can run. Those reports are always filtered on employees that report to you and no one else. If I go to the leave menu quickly, we've got a calendar that we start with. The calendar shows you all the processed leave. So I can go see, oh, this person's on leave, and these once again will only be your own employees, not other managers' employees. And the next one shows you all the public holidays that apply, and that will give you an idea if you are impacted by those or not by your staff. Annual leave stats again, same as what we had on the claims. Then we have the leave approvals, which shows you all the leave that's been that has to be approved. The next one shows you all the leave that has been requested to be reversed, and as you close them here, they'll go over to processed leave. Remember that leave once taken and approved has to be retracted, and that retraction will go to the reversals. And then lastly, just a few leave reports that a manager can run. And the time and attendance, we have the map locations. This is where you can pick your employees and then check the dates and then see where they checked in and checked out from. You can also have a look at the shift planner if there is any, and as well as the shifts. So the shift planner, if you choose a date, let's say this date, it will bring up a list of the employees, and from left to right it will show you the shifts that are available. In this case there are none, and you can then just put people into shifts by ticking the box and then submitting the lot. That will then put all those people into those shifts if you have shifts scheduled. I think here's one, we can maybe look at that. That's from the 18th. So let's go to the 18th quickly. I'll show you what that looks like. I'll show you the 18th of the day. Nobody's been booked for those shifts anyway, but the shifts are booked in that way. This just helps you doing it in a quicker fashion. More people at a time. Time approvals is the time sheets that come from employees. They will be listed here. That's been submitted to you for approval. As you approve them, they will all be issued and added to the timesheets. That will then make the timesheets final for reporting. Next one shows you the active employees in the company. At the moment, all these people are out because they are red. If they are green arrows showing the other way, then that means that they are checked in. The report gives us just a quick report on all the different time and attendance reports that's available in the system. Project management. We start as a project manager. I am allowed to see all these different items. If I'm just a normal manager, I would only see tasks. So it depends on your role. Normally a project manager would only work in this area, so you don't really need to have a normal manager as well. So under PM Insights, we see information about the projects that's been loaded. In this case, there's a few burn down charts. It shows you how many tasks there are per status, how much estimated project costs you have per date. You can also look at the overall tasks, who are behind at the moment, overdue tasks, how long they've been overdue, and any upcoming tasks and what the priority is, and then also a daily project review. So I can go back to say, okay, I want to see this day, and it will go and fetch that list of things for me to see for that day. On the task board, this I can see by dragging and dropping tasks. I can move them to different statuses. So you also might have tasks that you are looking at, and this is also for the project manager to monitor. And the projects is where we create all our projects. Once you've created a project, you are then allowed to go and import the project tasks. There's a downloadable file here that you can use for that. So you can create your tasks in a spreadsheet and you can import that into the project. So the structure would be project at the top. Once the project has been done, we can then do releases, and then inside releases you can have, or with releases you can have tasks. You do not need to use releases, but they are available to kind of segregate your tasks with. So once you've done that, you can put them in here. You can then also go view an individual dashboard per project. It will also show you all those tasks, what they've been booked, if there's any task statuses that you need to be aware of, overdue tasks, upcoming deadlines, and if there's tasks that's being created, how do they connect to each other? What does the map look like? Then we have task management, which is you can do bulk updates here, either on the project side or from an employee point of view. So on the project, you will choose a project, and it will show you all the projects, and you can assign staff to that. And the next one will be where you pick the employee, and you can assign projects to them or tasks to them. So it's just a bulk interface for assigning people to tasks. You do need to have them they're ready for you to be able to assign. Keep that in mind. And then we just have another list of a view of tasks, and then we have some reports around project tasks and the project board as well. Next, we have the performance assessments. Let me just log in quickly as a normal manager again. Now that we are in as a normal manager again, we can go to the performance management section. You would have noticed with the project manager that there weren't any details here, but with the normal manager they are there. So you do need to make sure that you have the correct role in the system. On the KPA, we have the KPIs that you are allowed to use in your templates. So this is important that you can create them, but we suggest that HR creates them. It's up to your organization. The next one is My Templates, which is where you create a template. You can create a template by picking a position. Let's say CEO. We can give it a name, give it a code, and we can give it some kind of duration. So it's either an annual review or half-year or quarterly. These are important because they would tell the employee how long they have to achieve them. So if it's an annual one, it will be given to the employee on day one when you submit it, but only make it available for self-review on month 11. So it gives them 11 months to work towards the goal the last month to be able to complete it. So if I choose annual, I would then give it some kind of description. I would go to the KPI setup where I then add the KPIs that has been loaded under here. So I'll maybe say grow revenue. I would then go and give it a KPI, grow by 25%. I will give it some kind of OKR that's been loaded by Exco. So you might find a goal there that says goal revenue, so they are related, and you'll give it a weight. Don't overthink the weights, just give them a weight like you would. We add them all together and we divide it again by the different numbers. So that will become a percentage at the end of the day. Being 10 doesn't mean it is 10%. If you have 2, it means that this will be 50. And if it's 3, it means this will be 33%. So that's how we calculate it. And then the last one is the peer review questions. These go off to the peers that you select. These 4 questions are preloaded, so they are available for you to use. You can change them and you can add new ones as well. You can also delete them, depending on how you want to build your template. But once that's done, that is the template. I can show you what the template looks like. So if I go to one of these, I can then say, okay, I want to edit that. There would be some questions and there's some peer review. Well, this one doesn't have any. The main thing is I can then go to this and I can say I would like to assign employees to this. This will bring up the template. I can see it's an annual one, which means it becomes available on the 1st of March 2025, which is 11 months from now. It shows me the different KPIs, and the OKRs that those are connected to, and the weights. I can then choose the employee that need to complete this review. That's the performance review part. And then I can also choose which peer needs to answer the questions, which will be the 360 part. Once that's done, I just click create performance assessment, and that sends it off to the employee. The employee will then get the notification and he will go to My Performance where he starts his own assessment when the time is right. And the assessments are the ones that's already been completed, and the peer assessments are the questions that's already been answered by the employees. Pretty straightforward. And the last screen, the only thing that's available to a manager would be the open positions where they can potentially apply for a new position inside the business. Other than that, the entire framework stays the same. You also have your options here to change profile. Everything like that stays the same. So I hope that was informative and you enjoyed it.